That's about it. That's about it.
And a few more.
Did you want
It
to direct
lasted
it?
several days.
Did I want to direct?
Yeah.
I really, well, I love directing. We all obviously love directing. Leonard taught me a great deal.
Mm-hmm.
Leonard taught me courage. Actors are mostly fearful, you know. Oh, the next job. Oh,
Yep.
will they not love me? Well, he didn't give a thing.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't care at one point, mostly because he didn't care. So he had the audacity to say, all right, I'll play it, but I want to direct, which is what we were all, what every actor, or most actors want to do anyway. But we're fearful to say, no, thank you, goodbye. No, we got our director, thank you so much. Because once you say, I'll do it, but I have to direct, you can't say, all right, I'll do it, but I won't direct.
Right.
I mean, that's humiliating.
Right.
So if you take a position, you've got to stand the position. So, or a price. If you say, no, I want $10. Well, we only got $5. Well, I'll take $7. No, we only have $5. So you come down, all right, I'll take the $5. You know, you can't.
Right.
So he had the audacity to stand there and say, I'm going to direct, or I'm not going to be in it. And they went, okay.
So Jonathan, now you directed the movies, you directed the TV. What? Why?
I wasn't that good an actor. So I was turned into a nice little director. Why? Because it's what Bill said. I don't know if you feel this way, but I know that I certainly did, that it was a dream to get to direct. It was something that you're more involved with the storytelling. I like the whole managing of the people, the casting a crew at the same time as you cast a cast, the whole, I loved it. And I loved being on the set every day. I loved the whole, and I had the company of my friends for my first movie. I had people who I trusted, whose opinion I valued.
None of us on our show would have directed had it not been for Jonathan. That's me, Gates, LeVar, Michael. Have I missed anyone? Brent never wanted to, did he?
No. He says he didn't.
He said, Marina.
But he'll come back with the next movie. It said, remember.
He got to direct an episode because he went what Jonathan called to Paramount University, which meant that in addition to playing Commander Riker and all of that work that involved, Jonathan for 2 years went to every production meeting, editing sessions, he sat in on casting sessions. He learned the process by being there and watching other good people do it. Wow. And finally, he wore them down.
I did.
The studio said, oh, God, let's let him, just give him one. And Jonathan walked onto that sound stage that first morning, stage 8 at Paramount, an authentic director.
Wow.
I don't think any of us were at first. LeVar, Michael, they've become directors. I was just having fun. I was just excited to be in a Hollywood studio. But he was authentic from the very beginning. And so it was entirely appropriate that when the second movie came along, that they should ask Jonathan to direct it.
Bill and I asked for permission to direct during the making of the series, and we flat out refused.
But you never directed episodes?
No, flat out refused.
Yeah, I had to fight for 3 years to get
contemplated whatsoever. It was out of the question.
Preparation on a science fiction thing then was, you had to prepare. What were things going to look like? And you didn't have time to be playing the week before while you were preparing that week. So go ahead, Leonard.
It was just out of the question. They just weren't going to have it. So when the opportunity came along, when Spock died at the end of 2, and it was clear they wanted Spock back for 3, I felt I had the opportunity the leverage to open the door.
Tell them that story, and maybe you will now reveal what was whispered into your ear by not only DeForest, by Bones, but by the producer.
Tell me what you're talking about.
Here's what I'm talking about. Here's what I'm talking about. He dies, okay?
Yeah.
And it's over.
Yeah.
And then Leonard, the actor, comes back for the third thing. And it was staged where when he died, Bones leans in and says something. And I said, what did he say? What was that for? That had nothing to do with the story. What did he lean in and say? And he has never told me what he said, but they used that to bring him back.
As a hook, yeah,
And
yeah.
so one would think, hey, well, then it was pre-planned.
It was, yeah, you're right. It was an amazing day. We really had planned to be finished with the Spock character, and I was depressed because the film was going so well, and I thought we're making a big mistake here. I mean, Star Trek II was being made, and being made very, very well. It was a good script, well directed, well acted, and here we came down to my last day. And anyway, fortunately, just before the final death scene, where I'm going into this chamber to save the ship and die,
Right.
Out comes the producer and says to me, is there anything you can do or say that would leave a thread for the future? I thought, whoa, wow, this is momentous. So I said I could do a mind meld on DeForest Kelley, who's laying there unconscious or semi-conscious, and I could just say a word to him. And he said, what would the word be? I said, well, I'll say remember. That's ambiguous enough to be picked up as a thread to anything. And that's exactly what happened. I said, remember, and we built the next film on that word.
But to all intents and purposes, you were through, done. You held that position even with me, knowing that I would never reveal that position. But was it a negotiating position so that you would be able to direct 3, or did you not think of that?
At that time?
Yes.
No.
Well, even some. Well, remember.
No,
what are you going to say? I don't want to say remember. I'm dying. I'm dead. I'm dying. Why would I say remember?
No, I
remember what?
No, I had no plan in mind. Seriously, I had no plan in mind. When the film opened,
I can't believe that. He gets on his knees because he says, "Get on your knees." I'll get on my knees, but I don't know how to motivate it, but I'm on my knees. The producer says, "Say remember." Remember.
Listen to me carefully.
Yes.
Pay attention. The film opened very well, was very well received, and about 5 or 6 days after it opened, I got a call to come to Paramount to talk about the next movie. And I said to my agent, what should we ask for? Obviously they want me and they need me, and I'll get good money, but let's try to broaden the career. He said, right, what do you have in mind? I said, what do you think they would say if I told them I wanted to direct the film? He said, I think that's a great idea. And that's the way it happened. And this was en route to the meeting. And I walked into the producer's office, and he said, we'd like to know if you'd like to be involved in the making of the next Star Trek movie. I said, yeah, and I'd like to direct it. He said, oh, that's an interesting idea. Let's have a walk down the hall to Mr. Eisner. And that's the way it all started.
You know, I'm just going to make one more shot at it, and then you got to tell your stories because we've been talking too much.
I'm fascinated.
Here's the thing. Here's what I don't understand.
Stuff.
Here's what I don't understand. Jonathan Frakes, wonderful actor.
Yeah.
The director says, can you motivate getting on your knees? He says, sure. Okay? I go, what? He's the captain of the ship. What's he going to do on his knees? How do you motivate that? The producer comes in and says, Leonard, you're dying, you're dead, you're gone. It's the end of 2. And can you say remember? Oh, sure, I can say remember. Every actor knows, well, what do you mean? What do I feel? What am I saying? Why am I kneeling? What am I saying remember for? Everything you do has a spine. I'm going to get on my knees. I'll be all right. You got to get the... Huh? Remember? Yeah, I'll say remember. There had to be something in there.
No, you're absolutely right. I knew exactly what I was doing, and I had a plan that we would make 4 more...
For the purposes of this DVD...
We would make 4 more films, and I would direct 2 of them, and you would direct 1, and then I would produce 1, and then you would die. I had it all laid out.
Now, Patrick,
How did you know that?
Settle.
That's why he's the captain.
why haven't you directed
Or is it took us...
a film, one of the films?
I haven't directed a film because I'm probably the only one of this group here. I don't know about you, Whoopi. I didn't want to direct the films.
I was going to ask if you chose not to.
Oh, deliberately. I think it came up. I think sitting in Sherry Lansing's office one day talking about the next movie, it was suggested, but I killed it flat. I killed it flat, and okay, do you use the term blowing smoke here in this country?
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
When you puff on it, you blow smoke, absolutely.
Well, I learned that phrase from him. He knows that. I didn't want to direct because of what I'd seen Jonathan do, particularly on his first movie, on
Blowing smoke.
Yeah. You know, it's like I don't want to direct in the theater either because I've been lucky to work with great theater directors. I can't do what they do. You know, stick to what you can do. I love directing the series. In fact, I would say the 6 episodes I directed, they kept...
At one point, mostly because he didn't care. So he had the audacity to say, all right, I'll play it, but I want to direct, which is what we were all, what every actor, or most actors want to do anyway. But we're fearful to say, no, thank you.
That's about it. That's about it.
And a few more.
Did you
It
want to
lasted
direct it?
several days.
Did I want to direct?
Yeah.
I really, well, I love directing. We all obviously love directing. Leonard taught me a great deal. Leonard taught me courage. Actors are mostly fearful, you know. Oh, the next job. Oh, will they not love me? Well, he didn't give a thing. He didn't care. Goodbye. No, we got our director. Thank you so much. Because once you say, I'll do it, but I have to direct, you can't say, all right, I'll do it, but I won't direct.
Right.
I mean, that's humiliating.
Right.
So if you take a position, you've got to stand the position. So, or a price. If you say, no, I want $10. Well, we only got 5.